Hello and good evening, all. It's another edition of the Wedding Conference, a meeting that holds every 27th of every month to share tools of wisdom for living, particularly for navigating life difficult challenges. On this platform, we've had several experiences shared from various personnel who have brought live, relatable experiences from growing up to marriage to children bearing to workplace experience to raising children to every aspect of life and living, particularly as it relates to waiting. Let's not forget, at every point in time in life, you and I have had to wait for on one thing or the other. And waiting is part of life's experiences. And when we understand that that is what life brings with it and accept it, then the approach and response comes with a better understanding. Today, we have a very distinguished personality with us this evening. He is, how do I describe it now? He's a father, he's a husband, and is a career person, especially as it relates to building career in the workplace. So today we will be speaking to, or he will be speaking with us, Mr. Shola, Mr. Yinka Shobukola. He is speaking on the workplace discipline that leads to growth. Workplace discipline that leads to growth. And what do we mean by workplace discipline? The discipline criteria that I have a noise from the background. The discipline and the career practices that helps to develop an individual, brings him or her to accountability, such that the individual can achieve personal career goals and organizational objectives. I am not your speaker today. Mr. Yinka Shobukola is here with us. If you know anyone who wants or desires growth in their career, who are desiring to get into a job path, you know anyone who is a graduate and are not certain what path to go, whether career or entrepreneurship, send this link to them now, share this video with them, and be a blessing to them. Please make welcome the very widely exposed industry practitioner, seasoned career man, Mr. Yinka Shobukola. Thank you for joining us this evening, sir.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Tope Aregbesola. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you very much. So we delve straight into it. Workplace discipline that leads to growth. What do you have for us, sir?
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. And it's a great pleasure also to be in your midst today. And I must commend you for putting up this program together. Just like you said in the introduction, that it's been a year that this program has been on live and bringing in different people to talk about different subject matter. And it's my pleasure also today to talk about discipline path to career growth. When you look at the workplace and the world generally also, the world discipline is talking about self-control. And in the workplace, there's always the entry point, and I will use myself as a case study here. There's a say that you are employed based on your attitude, you'll be trained for skill, and be rewarded for performance. Attitude play a very prominent part in career growth and development. During the interview, you are always employed based on your attitude. The attitude you put forth is what will determine what the panelist will use to get you engaged. And that's why this says good that you are employed based on your attitude, you'll be trained for skill, and you'll be rewarded for performance. At the entry level, the currency is cash. Cash as in CASH. And the C there is your character. Character counts in the workplace. And anywhere we found ourselves, character counts. Then the A aspect of it is the attitude, which I expressed also in the opening speech that it matters because you are employed based on your attitude. Then the S is your soft skill. The skill, either hard or soft skill that you acquired. Then the H is the humility. Now, when you get employed or get engaged in an organization, you discover that you need discipline to continue in that workplace. For example, the skill. Yes, you came in with some soft skill. The others, the technical skill, you will learn the technical skill at the workplace. And you need discipline. You need the H also, the humility to learn from others. And you need honesty. So you can see that all these four letters work together when you combine them with discipline. You need discipline to understand the process. There's what they call process understanding, control, and capability. You need discipline to understand the process, and you need discipline to put the process also under control and capability. Now, when you talk about this discipline, I said it initially that it's about self-control. There are a lot of things that will happen within the organization, but you as a person, you need to be focused. I will give an example. When I got engaged as a management trainee in a manufacturing company, there are things that we had to learn. We had to stretch beyond the hour of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. so that we learn. It took discipline then to learn some of those things because some of those things are not taught in school. You will not, in the workplace, you will not see calculus there. You will not see differentiation, the Y, the X. So you need discipline. Another thing is that in the engineering section, then the people that were trainer were, I will call them probably the technicians, which some of them are not probably as educated as we were then. So we have to humble ourselves. It will take discipline because you know the target, you know what you want to achieve, to learn, to gain knowledge, and that's the aspect of that of the entry point. Then also there is the need for the soft skill. When you look at this book, Winning Friends and Influencing People by Dale Carnegie, the book makes us understand that 85% of what we need to be successful in an organization is communication and soft skill. 15% is the technical aspect. So for you to learn that soft skill, it takes discipline. And one of my myths in my earlier at the entry point of my career, when I started my career, one of my myths was that I wasn't opportune to read the book Seven Habits of Highly Successful People. It was later in my career that we went for a training, and that's where the aspect of seminar and training is very important for you to grow in your career. We went for a training outside the country, and one of the books they gave us that we must read at that time was Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I thought if I'd probably read the book at the earlier part of my career, there are some things I would have learned. Like, take for example, seek pause to understand. One of the habits talked about in the book is seek first to understand before being understood. Then there's the other one that's put first thing first and think win-win. Those three aspects, I got to know them, learn them, digest them later years of my career. It will have been very helpful at the beginning of that of my career. Then when you talk about while you at the entry point, you move forward in your growth, there is the aspect of the pain. I'm using acronym so that we'll be able to get how it flow at that the trend goes. The pain is then that is an acronym PAIN. Pain is purpose, plan. You must be intentional about your career goal and your plan. And it's very important. And that's where the aspect of a coach, a counselor, and a mentor comes in. Most of the time, we mix them together that the same person that's your coach could be your counselor, and at the same time could be your mentor. No, they are three different things that you need someone to guide you through. Like a coach, he focuses more on your goal, dedication to work, and now you can achieve that goal. A counselor focus more on your mental health and your emotional well-being, while a mentor, based on his experience, will be able to guide you through. So for you to have that plan and purpose, and that book, there's a book, Purpose Driven Life, you must have that purpose. And to get that purpose, you have a plan, either short-term goal or long-term goal. So it takes discipline also for you to key into that goal. And if you look at that aspect of A in the pain, if you look at, there's a constant denominator at the entry point, which is I acronize as cash, that I said your character, your attitude, your soft skill, and your humility. You see that A is constant. And while growing also, the pain, the A is also there, which is talking about your attitude also. You can see that, just like the say goes that your attitude will determine your altitude in life. It's constant. Then the I aspect is information seeking. There are seven I that makes the collective we. And one of those I is information seeking. Is very, very important. Why is information seeking important? Information seeking is important because every year, every day, every moment, paradigm shift. And when paradigm shift, everybody goes back to zero. Your past achievement cannot guarantee your future success. And that's why you must seek information. I will give you an example. When I started my career as an engineering technician, the PLC wasn't common then. What PLC, program logic control, wasn't common at that time. But later, about 2 years into my career, it came up. And I'll tell you, one of my myths also was that I was unable to learn it online. And I remember my friend, I still remember his name vividly now. He was able to grab that aspect, and it really helped him. So that's the aspect of information. Information is very, very important. You must be able to seek information. You must be able to seek knowledge, because just like we are made to understand that life is a game. If life is a game, flexibility is the name of that game. And to be flexible in the game of life, you must seek information. If you look at a time, Japan were considered as fake products and a lot of things. And in 1968, the information they got about wristwatch making, digital wristwatch making, was what transformed them. And by 1980, they drove out Seiko. So that tells you that information, as an individual, you must seek information. You must seek knowledge. And in seeking knowledge, remember, it's not just head knowledge, because most of us today, we go for certificate, which is very good, but you must go beyond certificates and ensure there's competency in whatever you do. Whatever you learn, you translate it 18 inches from your brain to your heart, because today's world, the world is looking for problem solver, and that's where the discipline comes in. When you get to an organization, nobody promotion or career growth doesn't just come like that. That once you enter, then automatically someone will tell you, you will grow. No, you must be a problem solver, and to be a problem solver, you must seek information. If you look at some things that happened in the 70s, in the 80s, in the age of information technology, those things you can easily get solution to them today. And that's why it's very important. Remember the acronym. I said pain. It takes pain to plan. It takes intention to plan. It takes intentionality to be purposely driven. And I talk about the attitude, which is a constant denominator from your entry point to that middle career life. Then you talk about N, the N in pain, networking. Show me your friend, and I will tell you who you are. Who are you networking with? Who are you discussing with? The people you surround yourself with will determine where you get to in life. Just like I said, I started my career in the engineering section as an engineering supervisor, engineering graduate trainee. And I was opportune to mix up with a very wonderful engineering manager. He's currently the king of Igbora, engineer J.O. Titiloye. He's the current Olu of Igbora. He was the one that discovered my talent. That's why I said that the network, because then by 2003, 4, he called me to his office and told me that, don't you think you'd be better off in Operation Excellence? I didn't know what Operation Excellence was about then. And I will tell you that Operation Excellence became the foundation of my career growth. He was the one that brought the material, he got the material and prepared me for that, for the Operational Excellence program. And by the grace of God, I was selected within the organization, and just like they tell you, the rest is history. And I'll tell you that that became a stepping stone to a blissful career program. Now, with that network, there's people within the circle also. There are groups within the circle. Those people also push in their aspect of supply chain management. It was just like tutoring, supply chain management. There are things I didn't even know at that time. But when they put me through and I went for training outside the country, I now met people that were already into some of those things, operation excellence, supply chain, and all those. So, and they were the one that now push further. That shows that the network, and that network really helped me. So, like I said, the pain aspect, the purpose, the plan, your attitude is a constant denominator. Then the information seeking is very important. Then the network also. As you grow, it's like from end to end, like when you are drawing a flow sheet. The beginning of the flow sheet is the cash, which I talk about, the currency for entry, and the pain, which I recognize as the first letter, the purpose, the planning, and the A, the attitude, which is a common denominator, then information seeking, and the networking with people. Then as you grow to executive level, there's the aspect of care. CARE. Creativity comes into it. You must be creative. At entry point, the decision you'll be making at the entry point is different from the decision you'll be making at executive level. There are decisions you will take, people will not understand. You have to drive the culture at that period. That's why I recognize it as key. The creativity, the culture, because organizational culture play prominent role, and at executive level you need to drive that also, because the organizational culture determines how we solve problem. Then, just like I said, A is still the constant denominator. You see the attitude there. So at every stage of the career, you see that A is constant. Attitude at the entry point. As a middle manager, the A is still there. At executive level also, you see that A in that aspect, which talks about the attitude. Then the R talks about being resourceful. You must be resourceful. You must be resourceful. And E, talking about emotional intelligence. And the key S in that place, the S, talks about strategic, and you must be also visible. Now, when you put all those things together, you discover that career growth is not just a straight line, it's not just a straight line, just like I've explained it. There are times that you pass through fire. Fire in the sense that probably some decision you need to take, tough decision you need to take, which require the discipline aspects that we talk about, even on yourself also. Take for example now, I talk about Operation Excellence. It took me time to understand what Operation Excellence was all about in 2002, 2003, and 2004. And the aspect of supply chain also, the safety. I combine all those together to that helped the career progression. Some of those things, it doesn't come easily like that. I remember at the time I was working in at Ilupeju. Eventually, I was transferred to Agbara, and I was running a program at University of Lagos Teaching Hospital in Unilag at that time on safety. And I will have to leave Agbara down to University of Lagos, because there is a purpose, there is a vision, the vision which must be followed with a venture. And this vision is about change management. A vision, your career vision is about change management, because there will always be resistance, there will always be opposition. And that's why one of the things that really shaped me up is the change management training that we had under Operation Excellence, that told us that our degree of dissatisfaction multiplied by vision for future, multiplied by first step, must be greater than resistance. Degree of dissatisfaction, you must be dissatisfied with where you are in any position, at entry point, at the middle manager, as a middle manager, or in the middle management, or senior manager, or at executive level. You must be dissatisfied. Degree of dissatisfaction, you must be dissatisfied. And what makes you dissatisfied? The information you get, the problem you want to solve. must help you to be dissatisfied. Degree of dissatisfaction must be high. Vision for future. What do you want to be? You must have a vision for future. And you must be able to reject mediocrity. I will tell you that once you made up your mind on something, God Almighty will always make a way, and nature will always support you. Two experiences in my career, maybe to understand this. When I, just like I said, I started my career in the as management training in the engineering department. By the time the aspect of operational excellence came up, I was told that in Nigeria, in Glasgow, I was in Glasgow, Smithland at that time, that they didn't allow engineering people to join Operation Excellence. I was surprised. And in our Operation Excellence training, when I joined, I remember there was the degree of dissatisfaction. I told them that they should just give me a trial. And honestly, I appreciate HK Adiwali. He was the head of department Operation Excellence then. He gave me a trial. And that was how I became the first engineer in GlaxoSmithKline then to be trained on Operation Excellence. Other engineering, by the time I came back, they now joined. So that why I said that is that you don't allow mediocrity. Your degree of dissatisfaction must be high. Must be high. Your vision for future multiplied by the first step. I took a first step at that time. And honestly, that Operation Excellence has always been a unique thing that helped. Then where I am currently, I will tell you that at a time, there is a limit to which the black can get to. But as God will have it, as through the guidance of my boss, and we're solving problem, just like I said, you must be a problem solver to grow. We're given opportunity, 17 of us were given opportunity to write the GATP Global Assigned Talent Pool Program in 2015. And by the grace of God, we became successful. And that's how we became Global Assigned Talent Pool. Why did I share this experience? It's to tell you that, look, you have to be limitless. There's no limitation to which the human mind, what you can conceive, you can achieve it. And you must be willing to pay the price also. It will take discipline to pay the price. And you must be willing to challenge the status quo. Remember what I said? I said the degree of dissatisfaction multiplied by the vision for future. There must be vision for future. Multiplied by the first step must be greater than resistance. There will always be resistance. To career growth, there will always be resistance. But your degree of dissatisfaction must be high. Your vision for future, your first step all these must be greater than resistance. There are a lot of resistance. There are environmental resistance. There are things people will say, well, at entry level, the economic situation in Nigeria is tough, the political situation. But I'm here to challenge you today that, look, in every tough situation, no matter how tough the situation, wherever is tough, that's where the treasure is. Anywhere you discover that, oh, this place is tough, that's where the treasure is. It takes for the middle belt. People talk about the middle belt. Oh, the middle belt, there's problem in the middle belt. Do you know that in the middle belt is the cradle of religion? Christianity came from the middle belt, and Islam also came from the middle belt. So you just have it at the back of your mind that anywhere that is tough, know that that place, there's a treasure there. And the same thing goes for the Niger Delta area, the south part of Nigeria. Niger Delta, things are out there, but there's treasure. That's where the treasure, the black gold, that's where it's buried. So Don't let anything limit you. Don't let the economic situation in Nigeria limit you. You must be a solution provider, problem solver, because the world is tired of people who want to talk, but people that want to solve problem. I'll tell you before I round up, I found myself in the southern part of Nigeria, and when I came in, there was a flood in the factory, and the flood affected the area. I told the people we look into that area, and we now said, instead of having flood, what about having because if you look at the southern part of Nigeria, because being a coastal area, the average rainfall is around 2,000 millimeter, and in Fokado we have the highest rainfall there. That's how we came up with a project on rain harvesting, and we started harvesting rain. And today, that project is being shared among the plants. And by the grace of God, the problem of that flood was solved. So when the ministry came in, the Standard Organization of Nigeria and the NAFDAC and all other body, when they came in, they asked a question. I wasn't there. They asked the question: is it that this company has been taken over by new management? They said no. There's a new leader that has taken over the place, and that tells you that's a way to solve problem. And at the tip of my finger, I can relate to one or two things. So, in summary, when you are a problem solver, you are sure of a career progression. That doesn't stop challenges on the way. That doesn't stop part on the way. But I have come to realize that challenges are what makes you grow in life. Where there are no challenges, I will not even venture into where there are no challenges. So if you look at the situation in Nigeria, it gives opportunity for you to grow. And it takes discipline. It takes discipline for you to seek information. It takes discipline for you to know that it's a paradigm shift. What was impossible yesterday is the norm today. 40 years ago, Nigeria, nobody thought of solar energy, but today it's possible. 40 years ago, nobody talked about cell phone and all those other, but that's the norm today. So where there are challenges, there are opportunities to grow and make impact. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Absolute delight. Absolute delight. I mean, I could go on and listen to you for the next 1 hour, if not because of time, and we'll probably want to take questions from anyone who has questions. If you have questions, you can raise your hand or drop it in the comment box so that our speaker can quickly speak to your questions. I mean, you spoke very intentionally, and you spoke very real to the issues of, I mean, you spoke to the experience of a career person, the process of growth, and you affirm that there will be challenges, but challenges are platforms for opportunities. We shouldn't see challenges as something to run away from or to scare us away from the real opportunity for the next level. In fact, from what I got from you is like, when you see challenges, you should run at it and embrace it. Because with challenges, you can then have the opportunity to create solutions. Because inside solutions are values. And it is the values that you bring to the table that you are paid for, that you are rewarded, that you are appreciated, that you are celebrated, that you get remunerations for. So in a career path, you want to grow, you want to develop. The discipline is to pay attention to the challenges. What is that thing, those things that everybody is complaining about? Everybody is excusing on. Everybody is saying, oh, it's impossible. Those are the things that should catch our attention. And I like the fact that you took an example on the Niger Delta, the Middle Belt. I mean, these are tough areas, right? And you see that, and I wonder sometimes when you meet foreigners, when they come into the country, and you have the opportunity to have conversations with them, you see that their mind, which is one thing you also mentioned about. The mind is the platform for the growth or the demotion. The mind has to first embrace the possibilities of growth. If the mind is not ready, no amount of investment, of training, of exposure, of seminars, workshops can help the individual to come up higher. So I'm glad you went into all these things. And if you are taking notes for our listeners, I mean, if I were you, I would go and listen to everything that our speaker said, take notes, and not just take notes, take responsive actions. Because it's not just enough for you to hear all these things. What to do, what not to do, challenges, face the challenges, the disciplines, the practice, the things to do, right? Beyond all of that, take responsive, corresponding actions. Because, for example, one of the things that our speaker shared is the fact that someone made restrictions available in a platform, but he insisted, was committed to giving that opportunity a shot. And with persistency, it got into the room. And today, it's become a blessing to him. So giving up is not the option. That's what I'm trying to say with that. Giving up is not an option. You don't give up. You go at it, you keep at it, you continue till you get the desired result. I mean, I can go on and on. I took notes because I hope you're also taking notes like I did, you know. And so I have a question here about workplace discipline and career growth. And this person is saying, what is the purpose of, should I have about 2 questions. Should I take them one after the other, or I should take them and then you answer them together?
You can take them one after the other so that we can just.
The first question is saying, what is the purpose of discipline in the workplace, especially when there is no let me read it the way it was. What is the purpose of discipline in the workplace, especially where the right rewards are not available? That is one. Then number 2 is the person is saying, when you mentioned about soft skills and career growth, so the person is saying soft skills are essential because they are transferable and they enable the professional to work effectively. So the person is saying, how do I balance having soft skills and pursuing my career growth? Because, you know, when you were talking about soft skills, you were talking about the career growth. So this person is saying, how do I balance my timing to invest into the necessary soft skills, right? And to still focus, play the politics, the art, engage the space of the work for my career growth. Okay, sorry, another one just came in now, so I'm going to take that's the 3rd one. Says,
okay, so is it 2 questions you've asked now?
Now 2, but another one just dropped now, so I just want to add it to it.
Okay.
Did you get the first 2, sir?
Yes, the first one, the purpose of discipline in workplace where the right reward are not available.
Yes, sir. And then the second one, then the 3rd one,
balancing my soft skill with my career.
Yes. So the person just Diola wants you to speak to that. Then this one says, what is the difference between workplace readiness that you mentioned and skills? So it said workplace readiness is the skills, it says, okay, so it says you said the skills are practical experiences and technical abilities, right? When you mentioned at the beginning of different practices, you mentioned that you are an engineer and different places you work. So it's saying there is skill, that you have skill for those things. And in relation to workplace readiness, that can you explain what those 2 means? So that workplace readiness includes skills, but also encompasses soft skills. So the person largely just wanted to elaborate on that. Workplace
Okay.
readiness and workplace readiness, yes, and skills, soft skills. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, for question one, what discipline in workplace where the right reward are not available? Now, when you know rewards are relative. Some things about just about cash reward only. I'll
Mm,
give you a typical example. When I was in GlaxoSmithKline, my some of my friends were earning outside GlaxoSmithKline were earning almost 10 times of what I was earning at that time. Some of my friends. But the what I was looking for was the training that the company availed me at that time. I was receiving training. That's what people say. Ah, well, in fact, one of them sent my CV to an organization that the organization was ready to pay me times 5 of what I was receiving at that time. But life is not reward and recognition is not only about your salary. Your work environment is very important. Your mental health is very important. And there's always a time, a building period when you are supposed to be someone that is they are probably a puppy and you want to be a university lecturer. There's always a problem there. So when you say reward, that's why I said that reward comes in different way. It those period that they gave me the training, fine, the monetary aspect wasn't there, but it was that, I'll tell you, it was that training that gave me the breakthrough I had in 2011 when I joined another organization. So in essence, you have to be disciplined. And you see, he said, purpose of discipline in one place where the right reward is not there. You see, when you are invited to a table, they are watching you. An organization just like inviting you to a table, the world watch, they are watching your way of working. They are watching your action. They are watching your tenacity. They are watching your character. And they are watching your humility. So when you talk about discipline, you have to be disciplined. As someone is there and someone is not there. I remember some years back, our vice president gave an instruction to them, to some top management guy. He gave an instruction. So I now went to meet the secretary. I said, I remember that I wasn't given same instruction. He said the man told him, I know Yinka, he has self-discipline. I don't need to give him that kind of instruction. And it was that will tell you that people are watching. They have invited you to the table. They are watching you. They are watching your way of working. They are watching your action. They are watching your tenacity, the way you deliver. They are watching some of those things. And reward will come in. And that same year, it was, that's why the salary was, I would say, average at that time. The bonus came in and I was shocked. And even the MD had to call me himself and said, don't tell anybody that I gave you this bonus. So reward comes in, not at times, not as we expect, but just as we grow, you just discover that other things fall in place with that. So I think that answered the answer of purpose of discipline in a workplace where there's no, then combining soft skill, communication. You see, the truth in life is that we tend to indulge ourselves. When I was in Lupeju, I enrolled for a program that is 5 minutes away from my company. I said, I was so busy. I couldn't attend that program. I eventually, I didn't do the course at that time. I now went to Agbara in Ogun State. It was when I was in Agbara that I now did that course in Lupeju. I did that course at very close to Lupeju. I now sat down after some years and said, what made the difference? What made the difference was that in Agbara, I saw people, that young guys that were hungry for success. Young guys that came into the organization with school cert, by the time I got to Agbada, they were already Army master, and I entered the company as a graduate, and I was 7 years after, no other additional thing. So you can balance your soft skills. Soft skill, I think a lot of things goes on. The YouTube today is a university on its own. You can take your time. If you take 15 minutes daily to learn a new thing, at the end of the year, you get better. Because the way forward is you must learn a new thing. Because just like I said, the operation excellence helped me. But when you talk about soft skill, remember that soft skill is communication. You can learn on how to communicate from the YouTube. And your career will still be there. The career today, there are not people there. After the COVID, there's disruption, workplace disruption. So people work from home, people can work. And I must confess to you, the toughest career, no matter how to, I've worked in hospital before. I've seen doctors work. Some doctors say, my work is the toughest and all those things. And among those doctors I've seen, I will give you an example. I saw a man, Dr. Ishau, if I still remember his name vividly. He studied computer science. Eventually, he went to read medicine again while he was working as a computer science. So it's just all about us, and it's just about discipline. One thing you should know is that 24 hours that the richest man in the world is the same 24 hours. It's just the time you need to, and that's why we all need to there's a book, Learning to See, by I think John Shook also. Learning to See, the double vision of a leader. You must have that double vision, the way things are currently and the way things are supposed to be. My soft skill now and the way it's supposed to be. My career growth now and the way it's supposed to be. The last one, what is workplace readiness and soft skill? It's almost similar to question 2, but the 3 is that we should know that our brain is like a sponge. When you dip a sponge in the water, when you pour water in your body, you can use the sponge to scrub yourself and do 1 or 2 things. But that same sponge, so when you dip it inside the bucket of water, it can soak water on its own. And that's the way our brain is. If you allow your brain, if you open up on your brain, you would be surprised that, because we are made to understand every man is a potential surprise. You don't know what you can do until you take that step. And that's why I said that equation. Your degree of dissatisfaction, you must be dissatisfied. Multiply by your vision for future. Multiply by your first step must be greater than resistance. There will always be resistance. So, but all those things must be greater than resistance. And readiness. Look, if you want to say, oh, I must be ready before taking a step, you have to take a step. Just like the example I gave, when Operation Excellence, they said don't allow engineering people to, those that are engineers to be part of Operation Excellence. I said they should give me an opportunity. Even one of my engineering managers said, Yinka will fail in 6 months. And today I've been in Operation Excellence for 22 years now. And somebody said I will fail in 6 months. I've not failed because I told them to give me that opportunity, and they gave me the opportunity. So the readiness, there are some things you will learn. And remember what I said at the start. I said we are employed based on our attitude. We will be trained for skill and be rewarded for performance. You'll be trained for skill in everything you do. That readiness will come in because you'll be trained for skill and you will be rewarded for performance. I hope that answered that question.
Absolutely, sir. You did justice to all of the questions. Just before we round up, are there any other questions? I'm checking in the comment box. If you have any question, can you just drop in the comment box before we round up? Okay, sir. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Somebody is asking, how does someone stay motivated when he or she feels stuck in a career path in an environment full of resistance? So, I mean, there are some environments, workplace, where there are resistance, where you have to fight battles that are not yours, and it looks as if you are stuck on a career path. How do you stay motivated? What are the things you can do to stay motivated? So once you answer that question, I think we can round up on that.
Okay.
It's been a good night so far.
Now, there is a book by Robert Schuller. Life is not fair, but God is good. You see, in life, and there's a book also by Robert Schuller, Tough Time Never Lasts, but Tough People Do. He said, you don't surrender your leadership to faces. You don't, to me, I want to put it this way, you don't surrender your leadership to environments. How do you stay motivated in an environment? The first thing you should know is that you have to motivate yourself. The serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to change the people I cannot. The people that are not willing to change. And to adjust with those people. And to know that that person, and to change those that are willing to change. And to know that that person is me. You can only change yourself. And there's someone that said, when I was growing up, I thought I would change the world. And I discovered that I couldn't change the world. So I said I would change my country. I discovered I couldn't change my country. I said I would change my town. And I discovered that I couldn't change my town. And I said I would change my family. I discovered I couldn't change myself, family. And now it was later in life I discovered that the only person I could change is myself. If I had changed myself, I would have influenced my family. My family will have influenced my community. My community will have influenced my state. My state will have influenced my country. My country will have influenced the world. The summary of it is that you can change yourself. You can't have there's no perfect environment in the workplace. You just have to stay motivated by focusing on your own goal. My tomorrow will be all right. There's a message by one of the respected pastor. My tomorrow will be all right. You just have to be focused and prepare yourself. I will give you an example. When I started my career in engineering, I was demotivated. And some of the things that made me demotivated was that, look, I said cash is the currency at the entry point, which is CAS. The H, I said humility and honesty. We're doing we did preventive maintenance that year, and we couldn't get parts. I was shocked. No part, nothing. And only to discover that they made provision for parts, but the people that had to procure it, I don't know, Nigeria stuff came into it, and we couldn't get part. But when we have to couple the part, by January that year, a lot of machines started having problems here and there. Along the line, they started blaming. Oh, he's in car, this other one. I couldn't tell the people that, look, we didn't get part to replace during the shutdown maintenance. It was the year engineer J.O. Titiloye discovered me. He called me to his office, saying, Inka, don't let these people mess you up. I know you. I know how truthful you are. I know the hostile environment you are and all those things. And he gave me that opportunity to be in Operation Excellence that liberated my life and has still continued to liberate my life. So no matter how hostile an environment is, like a pinhole that brings in a ray of hope, there's someone in that environment that is watching you, that God will use to lift you up. Just like J.O. Titiloye was used to lift me up from that hostile environment in the maintenance department, because he, as a mentor, that's why I said that you need a coach, a counselor, and a mentor. He was my mentor. He, as a mentor, he had passed through that stage in his life. a state in his life where he was put under suspension for almost 4 months or 5 months for saying the truth. He was put under suspension. So he didn't want me to go through that. He knew the environment was hostile. So there will always be an hostile environment. But you must stay motivated, improve yourself, develop yourself, and you discover that God, the nature, everything will bring you to your desired haven. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Jada, you asked that question. I hope that did justice to your question. I mean, one of the things I would like to add to that is, you know, in the course of the conversation, Mr. Inka mentioned about your mind. I believe very strongly about on the power of the mind, you know, regardless of what the environment throws at you. Once you set your mind right and set your mind, your focus on your goal, you have to always remind yourself why you do what you do and remind yourself of your destination. With that, regardless of what is happening around you, you're able to keep focus. One of the things I also want to make mention of is your circle, which Mr. Inka also spoke about the circle of people, circle of influence that you have. And for me, for career people, I always recommend that you have a trusted, reliable career network. If you observe in the course of the conversation of Mr. Inka, he kept referring to one boss, one colleague, one friend, somebody, you know, in his network that probably put in a word, made a mention, referred something, advised something, gave a counsel. And if you look at all these things, you will know that community is very important. Community is very important. There will be people who are not going in the same direction as you. There will be people who don't have the same mindset, values, understanding, exposure as you do. But find your own tribe, find your own network, and share with them. Take counsel. And more importantly, I like the fact that, you know, Mr. Inka kept referring to one particular special man of God, one particular revered father of faith, which means that if you also in a community of believers, I used to tell people that being amongst believers, especially Christian believers, is a free, natural, consistent, available therapy. You share the word of God, you share insight, you share directive, you share direction, you pray together, you wait on God, you build capacity, you share knowledge, you share the truth. And all of this makes you different. So regardless of all of this will also help to motivate you in the course, because at the end of the day, it's about your destination and the direction of what you're doing. And in doing all of this, don't forget to set boundaries, because whether you like it or not, in a stiff workplace, people tend to want to abuse your mentality and abuse you as a person at the end of the day. But you have to set boundaries, limit your exposure to negativity, define your work hours, right? Create positive personal workspace. Put around your workspace things that inspire you, things that encourage you, and be strategic about your action. And in all of that, finally, plan your exit plan. Have an exit plan. What Mr. Inka talked about skill, he talked about workplace readiness, he talked about development, he talks about growth, he talks about your target, he talked about focus. All of this put together will prepare you for your destination. And don't forget, one thing also that kept coming from what he said is that people are watching. In the midst of all those negativity, there will be somebody somewhere, maybe in the organization, outside of the organization, in the community you belong to, that will say, this particular person has a particular lifestyle, character, attitude, passion, focus, and that will get you to where you are going. So at the end of the day, no investment is wasted. Even in a place where you are not appreciated, stay positive, stay on the right track, stay believing, stay doing the right things. And as you do that, you see that it can only get better from there. I hope you have been able to enjoy and learn one or two things from the seminar, that from the X platform tonight, the waiting conference. Tonight, particularly, as we spoke to the growth in the workplace through discipline. And today, we've had the privilege of being spoken to by the one and only, one of the finest operational managers from Africa to the world. Currently work with Olam Agric, Mr. Yinka Shobukola. We are so delighted to have you join us tonight and speak from your wealth of experience and from your depth of exposure. You are blessed. And I particularly will go back to listen to this and extract 1 or 2, 3 lessons from my notes and from the particular message again, because you can't get it all at one glance. I want to thank you all for joining us. It's been a wonderful time, and we hope that you have a very good and beautiful rest of weekend. And don't forget, the year is coming to an end, and the month is coming to an end. We pray that the rest of the month blesses you. The goodness and the blessings of this month blesses you. The joy, the Bible says in Psalm 65 verse 11, it says, "Thou crownest the year with your goodness. Your path drops fatness." The end of this year will still bring the best of it to you and I. The job growth, the career opportunity, the promotion, the platform that you are desiring, the route you want to take, the Lord will send helpers your way. And your waiting journey and your waiting experience will bear light at the end of the day that will bring glory to God, bring blessings to you, and put the devil to shame. Once again, we want to thank our speaker for being a blessing to us tonight. We pray that God in his infinite mercy will continue to bless you, will continue to increase you, will continue to bless your household, will continue to bless all that concerns you, will continue to lift you up and promote you, will continue to give you grace and inspiration. You will continue to be a joy to many generations, and the heights and the places that God has set for you, you will not miss them. Just as the Lord has put good people around you to point you in the right direction at every Kairos moment, at every change, intersection of next level, the Lord God will send to you men and women that you need for the next level of greatness. And together, all of us will continue to go higher, get better, and get greater. Once again, as the year is ending, don't forget, we'll still meet once more before this year ends, and that will be on the 27th of December. Be on the lookout. Go follow all our pages. You can rewatch on YouTube the waiting conference. It will be shared on all the platforms that we belong to. We hope that you've been blessed tonight. Until we see you again on the 27th of December. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Mr. Yinka Shobukola. We are so delighted. We are so grateful. Please extend our love and blessings to your family, particularly your blessed, beautiful wife. We're hoping that one of these days she will be able to come on the platform and be a blessing with us, share with us in one way or the other that she's had waiting experiences, and just, inspire us and share with us the tools for living. The name of the platform is The Waiting Conference. Is available on YouTube. Is also, you can check at Temi_Are39, at Temi, TEMI_ARE39 on Instagram to get consistent information about the program. We will share the link across the different platforms. Wherever it is you got the information from, the YouTube will be sent, and then you can also rewatch. God bless you. Have a restful night. Have a rewarding end of the month, and have a beautiful, blessed Christmas. Don't forget, we meet on the 27th. Bye and good night. Thank you so much, sir. Good night, everyone.